this a safe place to stop?
No, I'd have gone over there. I'd have gone over there on the left.
Over there on the left? What's the thought process behind that?
Well, you get snowboarders that probably want to go down here, and even though we're in the way, it's quite narrow, whereas if we're on the left, people can see us when they come over that ridge. We're close enough over there.
Yeah, it's a good consideration, to be honest. I chose over here just so I'm kind of not like, if people come out from underneath the chair and hang hard left, they come straight out around that line corner and all of a sudden we're just sat there. So I try to sit somewhere where I'm as visible as possible from anyone on the uphill traffic.
Okay.
It's about like imagine you had a really expensive car and you want to park it somewhere. Like if you parked it over there, someone might come around the corner and just biff into it. But if you park it here, whether they want to go down this side street or not, they're probably not just going to drive into your car.
Okay.
But not a bad consideration though.
No, again, you were thinking about it, which is the key thing, right? Thinking about where to stop. One of the reasons I wanted to bring that up, who saw the skier come down in the yellow jacket? Just boosting the rollers. So be very, very conscious. Even if, like, you know, hypothetically, if you're with a guest on a lesson, I've had people, you know, maybe didn't turn so well here and just kind of ended up on their knees. In that area, you are in a place now where something bad can happen. So just being conscious of removing yourself from that situation as quick as possible. Yeah.
Should we be brake checking as we go over like the bigger ones?
I mean, absolutely. If you feel like you're going to go over a roller, and if there was someone on the back side of it, but if someone was there, you would not be able to stop or react quick enough. Maybe your speed in that area is a bit too much. If we want to send it off of rollers, ideally it's a case of, hey, who's not feeling very jumpy today? Do you mind spotting me on the roller? And then who knows the open and close kind of signage for that? If I was on top of the roller and I was telling you it's good to boost it, yeah, nice big circle.
It's the same as Squid Games.
Nah, don't.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
I always like to come over a roller in a bit of a turn, like rather than just going over straight flat lane. If I'm on either edge, I can just jam the brakes on if someone is sitting there. So if you're going to like try and go over in a bit of a diagonal, then you've got an opportunity to cut back sideways or just slam the ankle.
But the key takeaway from that is expect the unexpected. And if you're in one of those areas, be conscious of it and try to get yourself out of that area as quickly as possible. If your friend's gone down on the blind side of a roller, maybe stop on top of the roller and be a bit of a blocker for them. Just things to consider, right? We're going to start riding in a group football season, and we're going to start riding up a bit of blind free, protecting other people we're riding with as well. On that note, back to snowboarding, fun part. We're going to go down this way. I'm not too sure whether we'll go down Herbert's Hollow or Bears Paw yet. We'll just see what takes the mood. But the terrain will start getting a bit steeper in some areas, flatten out in some areas. It's quite nice and just rolly. But again, think about that edge when you change it. What body parts are you using to change that edge as well? This is kind of where we can really focus on it. Any questions? All good? Let's go snowboard.
okay? You good?
Feeling? Is it happening in the same place every time?
When it's steep, I feel like I should use my edge earlier.
Okay.
But sometimes I like get bumped or scared and I do like last minute.
This is a big thing, and we're going to go into this a lot more for curling day, so I don't want to give away too much.
Oh, we're trying to get out of that.
Let's just move down so we're a little bit better and a little at this point or anything else. Tell me, what are we feeling from moving? And we get those feelings to happen low down on the joints. Does anyone feel what we talked about at the bottom, where you feel the high back pushing against the back of your boot? Yeah. Nice. What did you have to do to get into the position to feel that?
Sort of like as you're trying to sort of say sit on the toilet as you're leaning back, you sort of dig it.
It's good though, right? Sit on the toilet. It's an analogy we all know. Movement. Very easy to copy. touch on too much on day one, but it's just the idea of start thinking about what movements do you make to make snowboarding happen. At the end of the day, you're all here because we're going to take snowboard instructor qualifications, right? And these are the questions you're going to be asked, and you're going to be need to present to people with clear instructions and movement patterns of do this to feel this. So what do we have to do to feel that? So one thing we can start doing, actually, Dane, if you wouldn't mind just writing down, we can all just watch Dane and see how he moves his body across the board. When in return does it happen and everything else. Again, a little bit excessive for day one, but I think it's a good idea just to open the mind a little bit.
Maybe we just slide down a little bit. I think you're going to lose me.
Oh yeah, let's go on down to the solo tree on the corner on this little bit of a... Tough riding this way, guys. Yeah, Dave wouldn't mind painting a picture for us.
Sure. A good question to ask, like you said, like maybe a way to get the edge to engage to push the calves against the high back of the boot, the binding. But you tell me if I'm doing that or not.
What are we seeing?
Definitely.
Yeah, right.
High
So,
back engage.
yeah, I'd say there's actually a little bit of what I would call a tip.
Yeah.
So even the upper body just tips slightly, not excessively, but just enough so that we can get that edge engaged, and then we can work on thinking about those lower joints. You know, feeling the shin, feeling the high back on the back of the leg. So going down here after watching Dane, try and replicate the kind of nice slow turning he just did, and just be present in the movements you're making to make that happen. Understanding your own movements is the first key to then helping someone else to discover those movements for the first time, right? Yeah. Make sense? Awesome. Let's go for the right. Is he doing the same thing?
Let's like tap in a little bit. Get in the habit of like being maybe no more than like 3 board lengths away from the boat.
Ideally you want like 2 people.
That's not the different way around.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did that feel coming down there and compared to what you saw? Did it feel similar to what you were looking at?
Yeah. There's some quite nice snowboarding.
Yeah.
Was I pushing my calf into my high back, do you think?
Yeah. No,
Pushing?
not pushing but leaning.
Yeah, I'd say it was more of a leverage from the upper body kind of tipping a little bit.
The angulation.
What's that?
The angulation and inclination.
I'll tell you what I feel when I move on my heel edge, and then maybe you guys can try a little bit more down here. Is I'm riding along on my toe edge, hips balanced over the balls of my feet, and nice and relaxed in my ankle. When I want to change edges, all I do is I keep the relaxation in my ankle. I move my hips into the middle of the snowboard to get it to go flat. I gently open up my body very, very slightly, and as I do that, I feel my ankle roll from the ball of my foot to flat to the base of my heel. And as soon as I feel like my weight is stacked on the base of my heel, I start to bend in my knee and ankle, but the bend, I'm still trying to keep my shins touching the front of my boots, even as I roll round onto my heel edge. And the reason for that is, if I can keep my shins touching the front of my boots as I flex, see how my hip stays on top of the snowboard? If I push my calf muscles into the back of my binding, this happens. My legs tend to go straight and I break at the waist. So then, I can't bend my knees. My upper body is no longer stacked on top of my heel edge, so I don't have any of that body weight going into my heel side. My butt's out over the snow, so that body weight's not going into the heel side. Basically, lots of bad shit goes wrong. So, if I can instead adopt this position, that allows me to stay on top of my board, very stacked, very grippy, very mobile, able to steer. Does that make sense to everyone?
I'll tell you what, now that you've been told that, you want to watch again?
Please. Have a little look. I'll do one turn where I push my calf muscles into the back of my boot, and then the rest of them I'll do it the way I normally do it. I'm not going to wait for this orange gear to come up. Awesome pole plant.
That was a mega pole plant.
Here's what it looks like when I throw my calf to the back of my binding. Here's what it looks like when I do.
Ooh, getting deep on day one, I like this. You've got to feel though. This is what people will do when we start teaching, right? If like we say, feel that high back digging into the calf, maybe they'll start looking like that and be like, oh, actually, let's rewind that a minute and rethink this. But try both. Try doing what Dane said, where you still feel the pressure of the tongue on the toe side when you're on the heel side. And also, really think about engaging the high back and see if it puts you in that locked out position as well. Contrast.
Don't surf.
Huh?
Don't surf on your way again.
You're in my... Oh, I'm joking. I just need 5 minutes. I'm getting knackered.
At least 5 minutes to fucking process what we just said.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to start figuring how to...
I'm just going to catch an edge.
Yeah. Trying to keep, like you said, stuck in it, tight into your shins.
Do you feel like you managed to achieve that?
No.
Kind of. I weren't so much on the high back, and I could feel a slight pressure on the shins, but not a massive amount. I was sort of in that in between. If that makes sense.
What muscle were you guys feeling in your leg when you were trying to bend on your heel edge? Like what was these muscles? These muscles? These muscles?
Yeah, quadriceps. Quads. And calves.
Quads? Yeah. Cool. Good. So, for this bit, instead of feeling your quads, see if you can feel your hamstrings. That'll be the difference. You can contract your hamstrings as you bend on your heel edge. It will mean that you're drawing your butt closer to the heel edge. If you're feeling your quads, it means you're doing more of like a back squat like you do in the gym. And that's the real difference, is one will allow you to bend toward your snowboard, and one will cause you to bend away from it.
Could you repeat that one more time?
Sure. So,
And a sort of demonstration, because I'm getting a bit,
okay. So, if I'm doing a back squat in the gym with a bar on my lap, I engage my quads,
Okay.
and this happens, right? That's when I get in the not very good position. If I engage my hamstrings, as they shorten, my body moves towards my heel edge. That's the one we want, where you feel like the muscles under your butt are a little bit burning. It's a tricky move. It's not just a squat down, it's more of a rotate down. So if you twist down, rotating towards the nose of your snowboard a little bit with your hip, it will create a little bit more room to move downwards on your heel edge. This is maybe getting a bit overly technical for Kieran.
I was going to ask, if the angles of, you know, match, obviously there's still a little bit of rotation.
Yep. Definitely having a more open front foot will help that rotation.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially if you're on the taller side.
If you tried to knee steer with your left knee, would that also get the same result?
If you're, well, yeah, say that should happen at the same time, right? As your hip rotates towards the nose of your board, your front knee should open.
Okay.
You'll actually get more ability to steer with the knees by doing this as well. But again, pretty wordy for day one. We will get into this and dive into it a lot deeper. But on the way down here, to see if you can get those kind of hamstrings involved, just think about bringing your backside as close as you can to the bindings on the heel edge, above the heel edge, if that makes sense. So rather than sticking your butt out the back, thinking about bringing the butt down as close to the heel edge as you can. You should feel it a little bit more in the back of the top of the legs rather than the front of the top of the legs.
Thanks guys.